Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the end of 2022. I can't believe the year flew by as quickly as it did. In my last video, I had my NSR 50R project bike that I had just picked up. And in that video, I did an overview of the bike, rode it around a bit, and I mentioned my plan was to throw some tires on it, get it on the track, and then think about what's next as far as the project goes. Well, I bought new race tires for it, and then I started to clean the bike up a bit. I kept removing parts to clean it a little more, and before I knew it, I had it down to the frame. So I figured since the entire bike was apart, I might as well get the frame powder coated and put it together exactly the way that I wanted. And in hindsight, that was inevitable anyway. That's how I do just about every project bike that I come across. So here is the NSR 50R frame, completely stripped and then powder coated. I believe this was called crushed silver, and then it also has a powder clear coat on it, but it looks absolutely magnificent. There was a little bit of rust spots and a few things that needed to be bent. The subframe here, I needed to tweak just a little bit, but it was a good opportunity to get everything perfectly straight and again start now from a very clean canvas as I put the bike together. So I won't bore this video with assembling every single piece of it. I did have the opportunity though to paint a lot of small parts. I powder coated a few of them and then a lot of polishing to get everything looking really good. I'm going to start getting the bike back together and then I will show where I am in the progress. I also decided to pull the motor apart. The motor itself was running pretty well. The clutch cover though was not polished, so I sent that off to be vapor honed. I also had the head and a few other parts to be vapor blasted so that that looks really good. And while I'm working on it, I decided to order a big bore kit. So the stock is 49cc. I'm going with a 69cc big bore kit, and that also means new carburetor and intake manifold. I'm also new to the two-stroke scene. This is the first two-stroke bike that I have. And while I would typically find that intimidating, over the last couple of years here in San Diego, I've met a lot of friends that know everything about the two-stroke. So I've got great resources to figure out how to tune it the way that I need to. And for anything that I can't do, again, I can take it to them and say, hey, I need some help. I have the head apart. A lot of these parts are coming from Japan, so it's going to be a little while before I get it, especially since Japan is really big on celebrating the New Year's. WeBike says everything ships 192 hours from now. So I imagine it'll be a week before I really get into the motor, but for now, I'll go ahead and get the bike back together. So just wanted to show you what it looks like in this state, because once it's together, it's going to look quite a bit cooler. So forgive how messy the garage floor is. With the whole bike, I'm doing everything on the ground right now and working on lots of different things at once, but I have the headset and upper and lower clamps on. I've got the rear suspension situated. And the air canister mounts up here. Again, most of these things I just polished and cleaned as well as I could. And I also have the rear swing arm now attached. But next step then is going to be getting the fork legs through and the wheels on. This actually uses a kickstand that's mounted to the frame, so then I'll be able to have the bike up and keep working on parts from there. All right, continuing to make some progress. I have the front forks on and the whole headset assembled and torqued to spec. But I did paint the clip-ons as well as the lower fork brace and did a lot of work to really polish and clean up those fork legs. So I only have the front wheel on for now. The tires are mounted though, both front and rear. The front are the 100 and the rear are 120. These are the Pirelli Diablo Superbike tires. I also have this bracket from Shift Up that allowed me to mount a Brembo P34 caliper. So I'll have good stopping power in the front. I'm probably going to leave the stock caliper in the rear. I don't really use my rear brake too much, and when I do, I don't need too much stopping power. They do make brackets though if I want to put a P34 in the rear as well. While I was working on this, DHL also stopped by with a box from WeBike. This is the exhaust I ordered, so let me unbox this real quick. So two-stroke exhausts have this weird big mound in the middle. But here is the header and most of the exhaust. And then I believe the can is supposed to be carbon fiber. Kind of cool looking can. So I won't be able to throw this on the bike until I get the motor on, of course. All right, so it's New Year's Eve. I got a few more things sorted on the bike. I got the controls on the right side, the 14 RCS Brembo master cylinder, as well as the throttle control. I have this front mount that holds the tachometer and a few other small things. I'm really taking my time making sure that everything fits perfectly, just because if I'm going to pull the bike all the way apart, I want to make sure that it's as perfect as I can make it. But at this point, I'm on hold for different parts. I'm waiting from different vendors. TST sent me their axle sliders for the Honda Grom because we did measurements. It looks like that's going to fit, so I'm excited to get those on the bike. A lot of parts coming from WeBike for the motor and some other pieces that I need before I can take some of the next steps. So I'll be working on a couple of small things before the next video, but hopefully in the next video we'll put the rest of the bike together and fire it up. So anyway, as we get to now the very end of the year, I just wanted to thank everybody for all of the love and support from the viewers and the vendors and everybody else that has helped me on the projects, and also just all the cool friends that I've made this year. So I hope everybody has a fantastic 2023. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.